Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Blade here, and welcome back to iRacing. Today, we are back in the Porsche Cup series, and we are at Spa, one of my all-time favorite tracks. It's a pretty stellar race by me, personally, in my wonderful racemanship. Without further ado, let's get ourselves into my qualifying runs. So we jump into qualifying, my first lap of my qualifying run. As you know, my standard, usually first lap, calm, conservative, and just trying to really get some ground and set a decent lap. And then full send it on that second lap here, which is, what I did here, of course, is keeping myself from sending it too hard, especially, the tires are still going to be pretty cold and just not fully there. Same with the brakes, so really just kept to myself during this first lap to be able to full send it on my second one. So here we now start my second lap of qualifying, the send it lap, to try and go for that coveted pole position going into turn one. Pretty late braking here, get on the throttle as early as possible, not as pushing it as much as I would have liked to, but nonetheless, it is what it is. Now coming up to Eau Rouge, which in these cars, it's really easy to end up getting an off track here. So the goal, obviously, don't do that, but still push hard. So I end up going through it, slight hiccup here, and end up getting myself and off track, meaning the lap was going to be invalid even if I finished it. I ended up just parking it here, got a little frustrated, and would end up just slamming the throttle and just kind of jorking the car around. Not my best look, but let's get to the race. So ladies and gentlemen, here we are into the race. Red lights are on, waiting for them to go away, and we are green. I get a pretty decent start here, catching right up to this pink car ahead of me as we go into turn one. Really, it's a hairpin turn. It's really rough and can cause a lot of issues, but thankfully I managed to get through it quite safely. Almost hit this pink car, and he ends up spinning himself out. Bye-bye. And so putting me up from 6th all the way up into P4 behind the podium places there. As we go into Eau Rouge, again, it can cause a lot of problems here if you are not careful, and the trust lies heavily on the cars behind you. Guy comes up behind me, stellar run, ends up braking really hard to not hit me and ends up spinning himself out. But nonetheless, I have a decent run here on these top 3 cars here. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what they're going to do. I have plenty of clear room behind me, but my goal is just to catch up to them and see what they're going to do. They all kind of go into this weird triangle formation. I end up going alongside this yellow and green car. I'm going to call him the Sprite car. I end up getting next to him and end up getting past him into this turn as we go down into the much more technical section of Spa, as well as that really fast left-hander. So we go through here. He had a little bit of a look, but nothing too crazy. Car in P1 almost puts it off track, but doesn't manage to. I was scared dude behind me was going to absolutely nail me off the course right here. But nonetheless, I have a stellar little run in here, catching right up to P2. There's a make our way here. Again, this is also a tricky corner on cold tires, as you don't want to spin the car out going into this turn. And I almost get a little off track, but I managed to keep it mostly there as we all just stay really tight-knit together here. Guy in P1 kind of takes off. I thought about having a look on this guy, but decided against it. It's a little too early. Plenty of race left. No point in being too risky on lap 1. As you all know, the race is never won on lap 1. Guy in P1 goes off the gravel. Dude behind me, the Sprite car, is absolutely nutty. He's kind of freaking me out. But we all kind of just stay in this little formation. Guy in the Sprite car does eventually get around me as I have a little bit of a trashy run into that. So I just slot in behind him, and I, assumed I was just going to follow him, stick with him, and try to follow his line. Go back into Eau Rouge. They're a little bit ahead of me as they had a better exit out of turn 1. And car behind me in P5 is absolutely sending it. Dude was definitely the best driver all day, hands down. He was rapid. And as you can see that he has caught up nicely to me, and I already knew this was going to be fun. So in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, go defensive the second he gets close. Go for a nice little break here. Almost kind of cook it a little too hard. Almost went off track, but managed to keep it on there. And he is caught right up to me. So again, I try to slot myself on the inside, make it difficult for him, but he's got it figured out. Ends up getting around me on the outside there, pushing me down into P5. But again, still one better than where I started. So I'm not too frustrated with it. Again, I'm just going to stick with him and watch the guys up ahead. This guy who was in P1 kind of has a little bit of a slip up here and ends up braking hard. I don't know if he had an off track and had to yield or what happened there, if he was just trying not to hit somebody. I don't know, couldn't tell you. But nonetheless, we're going into the fast left-hander. I do go off track here, and these guys are kind of duking it out. They're really close to each other, which through this more technical section of Spa is very, very bad, as this is usually where people get a little too confident in their abilities, and you end up seeing some mishaps here, which was worrying me about these two, as we especially come into this section. I was really worried. Guy on the behind goes for a crazy look on the inside and spins both of them out, putting me up from 5th back into 3rd, and I'm thinking, okay, 3rd, the guys up ahead are a little far away, maybe I can catch them. Well, if we jump a couple seconds ahead, Guy in P1 just ends up, slamming himself into the wall. I couldn't tell you why. I've seen this maneuver done several times. I've done it. You actually don't gain anything from it, no advantage or anything. I don't know if you know that, but if you didn't, now you do. Now I have my sights set on P1, and he's not that far away now. So I'm thinking, okay, I might be able to get this guy. He may be a little faster than me, but nonetheless, I got to find where I'm weak. We jump to this lap, and he ends up just sending it into the gravel here and slowing himself down massively, which gives me a huge advantage as I'm able to get a stellar run and just fly past him, putting myself up into P1, which I hold on to for quite some time. If I'm not mistaken, I was up in P1 by myself for 3 laps here. And honestly, round of applause for me. I got up into P1 and got the lead a little bit. But if we jump now into our next section here, guy who was the Sprite car, he is back. He is kept with me. He kind of pulled back for a little bit, but now he's come back. I assume he was just trying to wait to let me cook my own tires just so he can catch up, and that's pretty much what you see here. My tires are a lot more worn than his, so I'm having a lot more of an issue when it comes to grip and just staying on the track. And he is right there, dude. He is eyeing me up and down. I have a little bit of an icky run as we come into this section here, and he just manages to get right next to me, but he gets a better exit and ultimately will get around me here, putting me back into P2. But you know what? I wasn't mad. I got to lead a little bit, and I'm still happy with the podium place, and I'm hoping I can keep it. Excuse me. Anyways, whoa, let's get away from that. Let's go back to the race here. Whew. Don't distract yourself, boy. Anyways, guy who spun himself out is all of a sudden back into 3rd and is having a nice look here. Sprite car spins himself out like the pink car at the start of the race. And I see him, and I try to cover him off, so I start moving to the left, and he just really asserts himself there. As we go into Eau Rouge, I end up thinking very smart here, and I lift a little bit and brake a little bit so he has a more awkward line. So I end up taking it, get a better exit than him, and I'm also going to get what I want, which is the slipstream, to be able to stay up with him. And I'm hoping I can have a strong enough stream so I can get around him here. And that's my ultimate goal. And I'm gaining, but I just don't think I got enough track here to let me do it. So I end up just slotting behind him, holding here. Make a little bit of contact, almost run it off the track. Somehow didn't get a 1x there. I could not tell you how that works. And from there on out, I am back into 2nd. This guy slots himself up into 1st. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is unfortunately where the action of this race ends. I get a solid P5 up into P2 finish. And you know what? I kept this dude on his toes for a little bit, but he just had the speed, he had the advantage, he had the know-how and the confidence in the car, which I just didn't. But you know what? You can't hate the player, you gotta hate the game. But with that being said, we come here onto the last lap to end off this Porsche Cup race. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for me today. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Remember that Jesus loves you. I love you. This has been your boy Blade, and I am out. Peace.